Hey guys, what's up? It's Big J, and today we're gonna be checking out a 2026 model. That's always exciting because we know that we love seeing the newest, the latest, and the greatest. So this behind me is on a Ford Transit chassis. So what I absolutely love about that first thing is I'm gonna love the horsepower that this is gonna have with that 3.5 liter EcoBoost turbo engine. So this thing is really, really pretty. This is the Midas. And what is also nice about this is just how little overall this coach is. I'm gonna say, what are we at? We're gonna be at like 19, 21 feet right here. So let's talk about a couple things that I think are really positive. First, you're gonna have that full body paint. These are not decals on the side of this. It is all painted, and this is made by Tiffin. Tiffin, usually you see a lot higher end stuff. Like this particular coach, you can see Tiffin Motorhomes right there. So another thing that I'm gonna notice right off the bat, obviously, is the frameless windows. You know that I'm not a big fan of those. I've probably told you guys a million times like how much I don't love those windows. Now, when you get into the first thing I'm gonna notice on here, other than the obvious, so I do think that this has a decent amount of solar, and what's nice in here is this first compartment, you're gonna see the inverter in here, but it's also gonna have plugs on here. So if you wanna be able to plug things in externally, it even has a hole in the bottom so you can run your electrical or extension cords out the bottom. That's a huge plus. Love the door handles and how they all lock. And as you move down this, you're gonna see like several compartments on this with a lot of storage. And normally in like, this would be like a B plus motorhome. Usually you're not getting all of these storage, and definitely not in like a Ford Transit, like even a dual rear wheel setup. There we go. Which pros and cons of, we did a tour of a Ford Transit dual rear wheel setup, a really nice camper build out on the inside. Definitely lacked the storage on the outside of it. Now, of course, two very big price differences between those. You know, your propane on here in this rear compartment, and then another little storage, just a hose. I didn't know if it was gonna have like, it has the quick release on there so you can just plug it in. Now, as we move around to the back of this, what I love, what I don't love. I love how clean it looks. I don't love that it doesn't have a rear bumper. I'm such a big, like, I would prefer to have a bumper because I know that if I were to back into anything, which doesn't, knock on wood, usually happen, but if somebody were to rear end me, I mean, it's like completely demolishing the whole rear of this coach. Which I know it's just a cap, but it's the little things that I'm like, you know, I mean, I just like more protection on there. So another thing you'll see, brand new coach, already missing the black water cap on here. This is really low to the ground. We're about 6 inches off the ground here. So that's one thing that I'm gonna say is like, overall, this thing does sit really, really low. So campground camping, I'm sure it's gonna be great. Still pulling into driveways, and it almost looks like a lowrider. How much that tire is just completely tucked in that wheel well right there. So I would love to see more height or clearance on this particular coach. And I'm sure that that is also doable. And who knows, maybe I'll even have a video showing you what this thing looks with more ground clearance. Now here's one thing that I do like on this that you're not gonna get on a normal transit platform van, is gonna be that this is gonna have this like 6-foot slide out right here. I'm gonna show you what that is on the inside, but on the outside, what's really nice about that is just how much more storage you're gonna get. You can see the frameless windows going down the whole side of this, and they've even done the drip rail going down the side of it with the drains on the front and back, which is really nice. And the reason that is really nice is a lot of times you get that condensation that rolls off of the motorhome and leaves streaks going down the motorhome. Takes way more to clean, to keep the motorhome nice. So that is definitely something that is a nice touch on this to preserve your body like long term, not getting those water drainage marks from the roof. Again, Ford Transit platform. This thing is killer. I mean, I really love the Ford Transit platform for so many reasons. One of the big reasons, though, is going to be the power that this engine puts out. Of course, when you get into like the Mercedes platform, the benefit in that is going to be that it definitely sits a little bit taller. This is an all-wheel drive setup as well, so that is going to be nice. But I guess we're heading to the inside of this. Let's go. All right, guys, so we're on the inside of this beautiful Tiffin, and what I'm gonna say is, first of all, I love the Class C platform because of how much more width you get. A B plus platform is going to be more than 1 foot narrower. So big difference. And actually, I'll show you guys a measurement. We'll measure the rear of this thing versus a Class C so I can give you a really accurate measurement. I think that that's important when considering motorhomes, the overall width of the motorhome as well, because that all is going to equal square footage on the inside. So I think that this type of motorhome is really great for 1 or 2 people that wants to basically solo camping and solo living. You are going to have the couch here. This is going to be your primary bed, and this is your bedroom as well as your living room. What's cool about this is going to have a pop-up TV. The TV is going to come out of there. What I like about that is going to be the TV is kind of hidden, and it's going to give you a lot of natural light in your living room and in your bedroom. However, you know, if you want to close the blackout curtains, you can do that in order to make it darker in here when you're sleeping. Now, what I would have liked to see maybe is a better use of space, maybe the TV somewhere else, and maybe a table here. This does have the ability to run 2 tables in the couch setup, and that's what these mounts are for right here. So you can do that, but it's like, okay, it's just obviously more work and more planning preparation. This is going to fold down. This is a Murphy bed. This is going to go down, give you pretty much a queen size bed up here, which is going to be nice. That's why I say 2 people. This doesn't have the overhead sleeping bunk. It's just going to be more cabinet space up on the top. So just cabinets up there, more storage. I mean, pretty much that's going to be your bedroom storage, but you do have a lot of storage on this back wall when we do get back here. Now, as we move into the kitchen area, you're going to have your microwave, your refrigerator, freezer combo. That is going to be really nice. And you can see it's all kept really low, which is definitely convenient. And as we come over to the main kitchen area, single stove induction burner cooktop, you're going to have a big sink here. I do like the size of that sink, and then it has the inserts in order to, you know, give you more counter space if necessary. You're going to have your outlets on there. You know, pros and cons, I would have liked to have seen maybe a backsplash a little bit taller on here. And again, I would always encourage you to put like some sort of side backsplash on here, because when the slide goes out, your sofa is going to be right next to whatever you're cooking on. So again, just my 10 cents when it comes to cooking. A lot of cabinet space underneath here. I definitely love the amount of cabinet space and the use of drawers. Really nice in here. And what's even better is as we come back, you're going to see just the amount of cabinets is great. And I really love the finish on this. It's kind of weird how they did a different finish again in the back versus up in the front. On the very front cabinets, that finish is going to be different right there. A lot of drawer space, you know, big wardrobe closet right here. They put the towel racks in so you can be able to dry your towels. And then I'm going to have my bathroom sink. Again, a ton of room underneath the sink as well. So definitely a lot of cabinet space. I'm going to have my circuit breakers right here, easy to get to, which is going to be really nice. Having the shower in the corner, definitely a ton of room, no problem. And it's even nice having that seat in there. So if you need to sit down, be able to like wash your feet, do that kind of stuff, you're able to do that. And then you're just your toilet. So really pretty basic stuff. I always talk about why I don't like the windows is because I cranked that window open and you can see it's only open about 2 inches. Just definitely not a fan of that. I would way rather have a window that slid up and gave me more ventilation into the coach, where I could get that airflow coming into the coach. Your AC, this is going to have onboard solar as well as an onboard generator to be able to control or power the coach, which is going to be really nice in this particular model. You got your max air fan to be able to pull, you know, hot air out if you're not wanting to run your AC in here. But I want to say that that's pretty much it as we kind of go through this coach. Obviously, it's a little coach, don't need a ton of room. You know, this is like, again, one person, maybe two. There it is. All right, guys, so there is a look at the Tiffin Midas. I mean, come on, I would love to hear in the comments. We're going to rate this thing, tell you what it rates, and also tell you what it costs. What do you guys think? What do you think this motorhome goes for? One other thing that I do completely love on this motorhome, I will tell you that, is you have this full-length awning on here, which is going to come out. So it's going to give you a lot of room in your campsite in the shade. I do think that is a big plus. Always take a look at how big the awning is, because a lot of times you're just hanging out outside enjoying a beautiful day like today. So I guess we're gonna go rate this thing. All right, guys, so let's rate this thing. So if you can't tell, I'm not super excited about this thing. And I guess the reason being is I'm searching for my next RV, and I know that this would completely not fit the bill unless I'm kicking my kids out and they're sleeping in tents in the outside. And that probably ain't gonna fly. So let's talk about the first thing, features. There's nothing about this that really jumps out. I think the hidden TV is kind of cool. But really, I'm not excited about anything in there. I do like the slide out, but I'm giving that like a 5. You know, I could really even be like a 4. Comfort. All right, let's look at this from a one-person standpoint. If I'm one person, I think that this is going to be really comfortable. I don't think I would have a problem living in this thing for a long period of time. I think that it would be comfortable. We'll give it like a 7. Quality and longevity. Well, I'm going to just base it off of Tiffin's reputation. They build really nice motorhomes. We're going to give that a 7. Drivability. Well, I think that this thing, being how small it is, it's going to drive really, really nice. You know, I love that EcoBoost engine. However, it does need more ground clearance. I'm giving that a 6. The next thing that I have is value. Well, this thing's just under $200,000. So when it comes to being value, I'm sorry, like that's gonna be like a 3 for me. The layout, yeah, I mean, I guess the layout's okay. I like the bathroom, how big it is. I mean, really, this is a van with a couch in it to me. Like, there's nothing special about this. Sorry, guys. The layout, I'm giving it like a 4. Storage, I will tell you, for the B+ size camper, it does have a decent amount of storage. However, none of the storage is even really big enough for a good sized barbecue or a even folding chair. So all that stuff's going to wind up in my shower. So when it comes to storage, it's like a 5. Sleeping, it's only sleeping 1 or 2 people sleeping. 4. Versatility, the way that it sits right now, 5. And the windows, they suck. So I'm giving that like a 3. So I'm not super excited about this. You could see for the price, my scale is going to tell you guys. I would love to hear what you think about this particular coach. Would this be, is this going to am I going to find this coach in your driveway? Let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, I'm Big J, and I'll see you guys in the next RV.